Aaron doesn't have a team, or he's not naming it yet. Have you guys set it on an 11?
We just got here and not had enough time yet to have a look at the wicket properly and decide what we want to do. As he said now towards the end there, we've also been at WACA the last couple of days, so we haven't had a look to see exactly what we want to do. So at the end of practice, I'm hoping to have a good idea what we want to do.
Is there a point of conjecture between who you're going to pick? Is it a spin, fast bowling situation?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously we've got two really good spinners, but we've also got a really nice seam attack, so it's trying to balance out what we want to try and do according to what the conditions is giving us here tomorrow.
Australia have lost 16 of their past 18 ODIs. Do you feel like they've lost a bit of their aura that they used to have?
No, I think Australia, whenever you get a chance to play against Australia, it feels like you're playing against a very good cricket team. And even when you look at what they've got in their squad at the moment on paper, there are some fantastic names there with the ball and with the bat. So the results, as you say, hasn't been as good as they would have liked. But from our point of view, it's really important that we look at Australia as the team that they are and know that when there's a clash between South Africa and Australia, it's always a tough one.
Batting collapses have been a big problem for them. How do you view their batting lineup in particular?
Yeah, they was obviously lost two big players, and I've said this many times. You know, if you take any international side and you take two of the best batters out of the top six, then it should be an adjustment. You know, it's not always a case of just coming in and dominating at international cricket. You know, there's experienced players for a reason, and they've done it for a long time. So any team, whether it's batting or bowling, I mean, we've lost two bowlers in certain stages of our bowling lineup, and then it feels like, you know, all of a sudden you're struggling to get wickets. So yeah, it's difficult to replace two big players that they've lost. But the opportunity that they would see is there's guys that will try and push their names towards that World Cup selection. So for them it will be a nice problem to have.
A lot's obviously changed in Australian cricket since you saw the Australian team earlier in the year. Did you, after the series finished and it was all sort of said and done, I mean, did you make any contact at all with Steve Smith or Dave Warner or any of the Australian players, you know, in the days or weeks that followed?
Feels like such a long time ago, but I do remember there was a message to both. I don't remember at what time. I think it was just after that happened, just to just generally sympathise with the two of them. But not since then, no. That was the last time that we chatted.
What was, like, if you can sort of summarise what your kind of feeling was and what you wanted to get across to them?
I'll try and remember what I said. Yeah, I think to Steve it was just a case of I'm feeling for you. I know it's a tough time that you're going through. No one should go through something like this. Just stay strong, and you'll come through this a stronger character.
Just the hostility that we saw in that series and in previous ones, and Australia's obviously trying to turn over a new leaf. I mean, are you hoping that? I mean, I guess the competitiveness is good to watch, but are you hoping that some of that hostility is not there anymore?
As I said, I think Australia and South Africa, there will always be that competitive juices flowing. I do suspect that this series will be a little bit more toned down, especially from the Australian side. Not necessarily from a body language point of view, but maybe just from a verbal point of view. As I said before, for me that was just the way that I got used to playing against Australia, and that goes back all the years. You know, even when I was a youngster looking at South African teams and playing against Australia, it was the norm. So I think that is maybe the one aspect that I'm expecting to change a little bit. That there will still be the good battles on the cricket field, but there'll just be a little bit less of the verbal stuff.
Faf, how's your World Cup campaign looking? You've lost AB and Mornay through retirement this year. You don't have a couple of big gun batters here on tour. What stage are you guys at leading into that World Cup next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think similar to Australia, you know, there's few things that we would like to achieve before going to that World Cup. Few questions that still need answering. But the way that I look at it is the fact that, you know, we do have quite a bit of experience, but it's the next group of players that is quite important for a World Cup. One, if they potentially can put their name in the hat, but also to get more experience. You know, it's we've gone to tournaments where in the past we've played the same team leading up to a World Cup, and obviously those guys played a lot of cricket. But then you're only one injury away from someone else having to play a game, and then they've got no experience. So the good thing that's created for us, it's given us a real opportunity to draw blood in some youngsters, give them some good game time under the belt. So when the time comes, when they eventually do get picked for the World Cup, there's at least 20 games behind the name, and a little more maturity when it comes to decision making. So yes, AB, Morne, the guys that, you know, even JP, Hashim that's not here, they leave holes in your team. But I don't look at it right now. I more look at it with the potential that the younger guys can gain experience, and actually better for them to play more and more games. If all those guys were here, then they possibly wouldn't have got all the games that is required for them to get experience. So yeah, it's not ideal right now, but it's good for where we wanted to look ahead in 6 months' time.
In KG had an amazing series earlier in the year. What are you expecting from him coming up against the Australians?
Yeah, he's excited to play against Australia again. It's the same with him. You know, competitive juices, it's flying, and then it brings the best out of him. So, hoping to see the exact same thing. It's a big rivalry for not just for him, but for all of us. You know, Australia is such a great cricket team, and as I said when I got here, when you come here, you know, there's a real feel about it that you're the away team. You know, there's a presence about the press or even the places, the stadiums that you go to. So the rivalry is great, and I mean, obviously you want to try and perform at that stage. So that's KG in a nutshell. He loves the big stage.
Do you think he's learned a bit from that series as well? Have you seen any changes in him?
Yeah, I have. He is still young, so I think, you know, with younger guys it takes a bit longer to eventually get there. But with KG, he knows what he needs to be better at. But I think in one-day cricket, I feel like there's almost no time for all the other stuff. Whereas Test cricket, there's more time. You know, one-day cricket, you're so under pressure for overrates and stuff. You're just trying to get through. So I think all the stuff that happens off the ball is more to do in Test cricket. One-day cricket is we as captains now are so under pressure to try and make sure we get through our overs. So that's generally like you bowl the ball, you get back, you bowl the ball, you get back. So I don't think he's obviously learned from it, but I don't think you'll see much of that anyway.